The mining vessel Helios drifted silently through the asteroid belt of Proxima Centauri b, its massive collection arrays gathering precious helium-3 from the space debris. Chief Engineer Marcus Bennett stood at the observation deck, his dark eyes fixed on the swirling cosmic dust outside. 20 years of deep space mining had left silver streaks in his black hair, but his hands remained steady as they glided over the holographic controls. Collection cycle at 87%, the ship's AI announced. Anomaly detected in Sector 7. Marcus frowned, adjusting the sensor array. Define anomaly, ARIA. Unknown energy signature. Organic components detected. Temperature variance suggests artificial preservation systems. His heart rate quickened. In 2 decades of mining the outer reaches, he'd never encountered anything truly alien. Plenty of false alarms, usually random energy patterns or crystalline formations that mimicked life signs. But this reading was different. Mark coordinates and prepare the retrieval drone, he commanded, already moving toward the equipment bay. Standard protocol dictated reporting any anomalies to Central Command, but out here, 18 light-hours from the nearest relay station, he had some discretion. The retrieval drone, a sleek machine designed for collecting mineral samples, emerged from its dock. Marcus guided it through the debris field, its cameras transmitting crystal-clear footage to his neural interface. When he finally saw the object, his breath caught. A translucent pod, roughly the size of a human being, drifted among the asteroids. Its surface rippled like liquid glass, occasionally pulsing with a soft, azure light. Definitely not natural, and definitely not human technology. ARIA, run full spectral analysis. Any match in the database? Negative. Material composition unknown. Energy signature suggests quantum state preservation. Marcus carefully maneuvered the drone closer. The pod's surface reacted to the drone's presence, patterns of light dancing across its surface like aurora borealis. Through the translucent material, he could make out a humanoid form. Life signs? Inconclusive. Detecting quantum coherence patterns consistent with consciousness, but no conventional biological markers. His fingers hesitated over the retrieval controls. Everything about this screamed danger, but curiosity and 20 years of solitude pushed him forward. Initiate retrieval sequence. The drone's collection field enveloped the pod, carefully bringing it aboard the Helios. Marcus hurried to the cargo bay, his mind racing with possibilities. As he approached the pod, now resting in a containment field, the surface began to pulse more rapidly. The translucent material suddenly became transparent, revealing its occupant. Marcus stepped back in amazement. The being inside appeared female, but her skin had an opalescent quality, shifting colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Her features were hauntingly beautiful yet subtly alien, too symmetric, too perfect. Her eyes snapped open, revealing irises that swirled with galaxies of their own. The pod's surface liquefied, flowing away like mercury. Marcus reached for her as she stumbled forward, catching her before she could fall. "Thank you," she spoke, her voice resonating in his mind rather than his ears. "I am Naira, last of the Luminarii. And you have saved me from an eternity of solitude." Her skin felt like silk charged with static electricity, sending pleasant tingles through his hands. "Marcus Bennett," he replied, helping her steady herself. What are you?" "We are energy shepherds," she explained, her form seeming to pulse with each word. "My people learned to exist between matter and energy, but it made us dependent on the life force of others to maintain our form. When our sun began to die, we scattered ourselves across the galaxy in preservation pods, hoping to find compatible species." Marcus felt a pull toward her, not just physical attraction, but something deeper, as if her very being resonated with his own energy. Compatible for what? Survival. Symbiosis. Her form flickered slightly. "I have been adrift for millennia, preserving the last spark of my consciousness. I need connection. Energy. Without it, I will fade into nothing. The rational part of Marcus's mind screamed caution, but something in those cosmic eyes told him she spoke truth. After 2 decades alone in space, he understood the deep ache of isolation. How can I help? Naira's form brightened slightly. Simply be willing to share your energy, your essence. It will not harm you. My people learn to take only what is freely given, to give back more than we receive. But the choice must be yours. Marcus looked at this beautiful, alien being, knowing his next words would change everything. I'm willing to try. The days following Naira's awakening transformed the lonely routine of the Helios into something extraordinary. Marcus watched in fascination as she grew stronger, her form becoming more solid, the cosmic swirls in her eyes burning brighter. During their energy exchange sessions, he experienced memories and sensations beyond human comprehension, the birth of stars, the dance of quantum particles, the songs of solar winds. Your species burns so brightly, Naira observed one cycle, her form casting ethereal patterns across the observation deck. Such intensity in such brief lives. It's beautiful. Marcus monitored the ship's systems, noting unusual power fluctuations that had begun appearing. What was your world like, before the end? Her form rippled with what he'd learned to recognize as melancholy. Imagine cities of pure light, thoughts given physical form, beings who lived for millennia yet never tired of discovery. We believed we had transcended physical limitation. She moved closer, her energy field brushing against his consciousness. We were wrong. Warning lights flickered across the control panel. Power levels in Section 3 had dropped by 30%. Marcus frowned. ARIA, Diagnostic Report. Unknown power drain detected. Multiple systems affected. Backup generators engaging. Naira's form pulsed with concern. Something is wrong? The ship's losing power, but I can't locate the source. Marcus pulled up detailed schematics, trying to trace the energy bleed. It started shortly after. He paused, looking at her with new understanding. After you awakened. Her form dimmed slightly. I would never intentionally harm your vessel. The energy we share is purely personal, freely given. Then explain this. He projected the power consumption graphs. The ship's energy signature matches exactly what I feel during our exchanges, just on a larger scale. Naira moved to study the data, her presence making the holographic displays flicker. This shouldn't be possible. Unless. Her form suddenly tensed. We need to check the preservation pod. Now. They rushed to the cargo bay where the crystalline pod still sat in its containment field. Its surface no longer seemed inert but pulsed with a hungry light. As they watched, tendrils of energy reached out, drawing power from nearby systems. The pod, Naira's mental voice carried notes of horror. It's not just preservation technology. It's alive. A parasite my people created, meant to sustain us through the long sleep. But something went wrong. Marcus stepped closer to the containment field. What do you mean, wrong? It evolved. Developed its own hunger. Some pods turned on their occupants, consuming them instead of preserving them. I thought mine was safe, but... She moved between Marcus and the pod. It's been feeding on the energy we generate during our exchanges, growing stronger. If it fully awakens. The ship's lights flickered ominously. ARIA, increase power to containment field, Marcus commanded. Unable to comply. Power systems compromised. Containment field at 60% and falling. The pod's surface began to bubble and shift, its crystalline structure elongating into sharp, hungry geometries. Naira's form flared with determination. I can't let this happen again. Not to you, not to your world. What are you talking about? Naira? She turned to him, her cosmic eyes holding an infinity of regret. My people's mistake almost destroyed our galaxy once. The pods were meant to preserve us, but they preserved our arrogance too. Our belief that we could control forces beyond our understanding. The containment field sparked and failed. The pod's crystalline surface shattered, revealing a writhing mass of energy tendrils that reached hungrily toward them. Marcus, Naira's voice filled his mind. I need you to trust me one more time. To share your energy not in connection, but in destruction. He met her gaze, understanding dawning. It could kill us both. Yes. But if we don't stop it here, it will consume everything. Your ship, your colonies, your world. It's what they always do, once awakened. The entity that had been the pod lurched forward, its tendrils leaving scorch marks on the deck plating. Marcus reached for Naira's luminescent form. Then let's end this. Together. Their energies merged more deeply than ever before, Naira's ancient knowledge combining with Marcus's human intensity. The cargo bay filled with blinding light as they channeled their combined power against the parasitic entity. The creature's hungry screeches echoed through both physical space and mental planes as they forced it back, containing its chaos with ordered energy. Marcus felt his consciousness beginning to fade, the strain nearly overwhelming. But through their connection, he sensed Naira's fierce determination, her refusal to let another world fall to her people's hubris. With one final surge of shared power, they collapsed the entity's quantum structure. The cargo bay plunged into darkness. Emergency lights slowly flickered on, revealing scorched walls and melted equipment. Marcus lay on the deck, every nerve ending screaming with exhaustion. Beside him, Naira's form flickered dangerously dim. Arya, he croaked. Ship status? Power system stabilizing. No trace of foreign energy signature remains. The AI paused. However, significant damage detected in cargo bay. And Chief Bennett, your biological readings have changed. Marcus struggled to sit up, noticing a faint luminescence under his skin. Beside him, Naira's form gradually solidified, her cosmic eyes opening with new awareness. What happened to us? He asked, watching patterns of light dance beneath his flesh. Evolution, she whispered, her voice now somehow both mental and physical. Neither fully human nor luminarii. Something new. Something neither of our species imagined possible. The implications of that statement hung between them as the Helios drifted through the star-studded void, its occupants forever changed by the price of awakening. 3 days after the incident in the cargo bay, Marcus stood before the mirror in his quarters, studying the ethereal patterns that now flowed beneath his skin. The luminescence pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat, creating mesmerizing swirls of blue-white energy. He no longer needed to sleep, instead entering periodic states of quantum coherence that left him feeling more refreshed than any human rest ever had. Your transformation is progressing faster than I anticipated, Naira observed, her form materializing beside him. She had grown stronger since their battle with the pod entity, now able to shift between energy state and solid form at will. Are you afraid? Marcus watched their reflections, his newly illuminated form and her otherworldly radiance creating complementary patterns of light. Not afraid. But concerned about what happens when we reach the mining colony. We can't hide this. No, she agreed, her form solidifying further. But perhaps we shouldn't try to. Your people deserve to know the truth, about me, about what's coming. Before Marcus could respond, Arya's voice cut through their conversation. Alert. Multiple objects detected on long-range sensors. Configuration matches luminarii preservation pods. They rushed to the bridge. The main display showed dozens of pods drifting through the asteroid field, their surfaces pulsing with the same hungry light they had witnessed before. It wasn't just my pod that evolved, Naira's voice carried a deep sorrow. They've been waiting, dormant, gathering strength. The energy of our transformation must have awakened them. Marcus studied the sensor readings. How many? Detecting 47 distinct energy signatures, Arya reported. All showing signs of active power consumption from surrounding space. They're feeding on the background radiation, Naira explained. Growing stronger. Soon they'll seek out more concentrated energy sources. She turned to Marcus, her cosmic eyes intense. Your mining colonies. Your cities. Your world. Marcus felt new abilities stirring within him, awareness of quantum fields, the ability to perceive energy patterns across vast distances. Through this enhanced perception, he could sense the malevolent intelligence awakening within the pods. We have to warn them, he said, reaching for the communications array. But as he touched the controls, sparks of energy danced between his fingers and the console, causing the systems to fluctuate wildly. Your new form, Naira moved to help him stabilize the equipment. It's not compatible with your technology anymore. Let me. She interfaced with the ship's systems, her energy harmonizing with the electrical patterns. The communications array hummed to life, but before they could transmit a warning, a new signal cut through the static. To all vessels in the Proxima Centauri system, a familiar voice echoed through the bridge. This is Director Roth of the Deep Space Mining Corporation. We are detecting unusual energy signatures throughout the asteroid belt. All ships are ordered to maintain distance and await further instructions. Marcus recognized the name, Catherine Roth, renowned xenophysicist turned corporate director. She had always pushed for more aggressive exploration of anomalous phenomena, despite the risks. They don't understand what they're dealing with, Naira's form flickered with agitation. Your corporate leaders, they'll see the pods as a potential energy source, a new technology to exploit. They'll try to contain and study them, just as my people once did. Through their shared connection, Marcus felt her memories of the catastrophe that befell her civilization, brilliant scientists thinking they could control forces beyond their comprehension, the horror as their containment facilities failed, entire cities consumed by hungry light. We need to stop them, he said. But how? We can barely interact with normal technology, and if we reveal ourselves, then we show them the truth. Naira's form brightened with determination. Not just warn them, but make them understand. Your transformation, it wasn't just a physical change. You carry within you now the complete history of my people, including our greatest mistakes. If we can share that knowledge. It could kill them, Marcus protested. The human mind isn't meant to process that kind of information. No, she agreed. But there might be another way. Her form shifted, revealing complex patterns that Marcus now recognized as quantum equations. What if we could create a controlled version of what happened to you? A temporary bridge between our forms of consciousness? Marcus understood what she was suggesting. Using our combined abilities to communicate directly with their minds, show them the danger without transforming them. Yes. But it would require perfect control. The slightest mistake could turn them into energy parasites like the pods, Marcus finished. Or burn out their minds entirely. He looked at the sensor display, where the pod's energy signatures were growing stronger by the minute. But if we do nothing, everyone dies anyway. Naira moved closer, their energy fields intermingling. I can guide you, help you focus your new abilities. But the connection to human consciousness, that has to come from you. You're the bridge between our species now. Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the power coursing through his transformed body. Then let's hope I'm strong enough to be that bridge without breaking. He turned to the ship's AI. Arya, set course for the main mining colony. And prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. As the Helios turned toward the colony, Marcus and Naira began the delicate process of harmonizing their energies, preparing for the most dangerous form of first contact humanity had ever attempted. The fate of two civilizations would rest on their ability to share the truth without destroying those who received it. The Helios approached Proxima Colony's massive dome structures, its hull reflecting the red dwarf's dim light. Through the viewports, Marcus could see ships surrounding the colony, corporate vessels, research crafts, and military frigates. They had all come to study the strange energy signatures, unaware of the true danger they faced. Multiple vessels approaching, Arya announced. They are demanding we maintain distance. Director Roth is leading the research fleet personally, Naira observed, her consciousness merged with the ship's sensors. Her ship carries advanced containment equipment. They're preparing to capture a pod. Marcus felt sick. They have no idea they're dealing with conscious entities. How long until the pods reach the colony? At current speed, less than 6 hours. They're accelerating, drawn to the colony's power signature. Naira's form pulsed with urgency. We need to act now. A new voice crackled through the communications array. Helios, this is Director Roth. Your ship is broadcasting unusual energy signatures. Power down and prepare for boarding. Marcus stepped forward, his transformed body now glowing visibly. Catherine, wait. You don't understand what you're dealing with. These aren't just energy anomalies, they're parasitic entities. Weapons created by an ancient civilization. Chief Bennett? Roth's voice carried surprise. Our sensors show significant alterations to your biological signature. What happened out there? I can show you, he replied, looking at Naira. But you have to trust me. They had practiced this, spent hours harmonizing their energies to create the perfect balance, enough power to share consciousness without overwhelming human minds. Naira moved to Marcus's side, their forms beginning to merge. Director, Marcus continued, I'm going to attempt a direct consciousness link. Please don't resist. Before Roth could respond, Marcus and Naira released their carefully controlled energy wave. It rippled across space, touching the minds of everyone within range. Not the full download of knowledge that had transformed Marcus, but a carefully curated selection of memories and warnings. Through the link, they shared visions of the Luminarii civilization's fall, the hubris, the failed experiments, the horror as their creations turned against them. They showed the pod's true nature, their growing hunger, the inevitable consumption of all energy they encountered. The connection lasted only seconds, but its effect was immediate. Alarms blared across the fleet as crews reacted to their shared vision. Marcus could feel their shock, fear, and growing understanding. By all that's holy, Roth's voice trembled. Those things, they're alive? And there are more coming? Yes, Marcus confirmed. But that's not the worst part. Director, scan the asteroid field's outer edge. A moment of silence, then, no, that's impossible. The energy signatures, they're multiplying. They're reproducing, Naira explained, her mental voice now reaching all ships. Converting normal matter into more of themselves. Soon there will be hundreds, then thousands. How do we stop them? Roth demanded. There's only one way, Marcus said heavily. The same way Naira's people finally ended their own crisis. We have to create a quantum cascade, a chain reaction that will collapse their energy matrices. But the cost? The cost is the complete destruction of this star system, Naira finished. The cascade will consume everything, the pods, the colonies, all of it. You'll have to evacuate everyone. Silence fell across the communications channels as the implication sank in. An entire star system sacrificed to prevent a greater catastrophe. How long do we have? Roth finally asked. Marcus checked the sensor readings, his enhanced perception confirming their worst fears. The pods are accelerating their reproduction. Maybe 4 hours before there are too many to contain. The evacuation needs to start now. And you? Roth's voice carried genuine concern. What happens to you and your companion when we trigger this cascade? Marcus and Naira exchanged glances, their forms shimming with shared emotion. We're the only ones who can initiate it, he explained. Our combined energy signatures, our understanding of both forms of existence, we have to be the catalyst. And yes, we'll be consumed along with everything else. There has to be another way, Roth protested. Your transformation, it proves coexistence is possible. What happened to me was unique, Marcus said softly. A perfect storm of circumstances we can't recreate. And even if we could, there's no time. Catherine, please. Start the evacuation. Alarms began blaring throughout the colony as Roth gave the order. Ships broke orbit, heading for the system's edge. But in the asteroid field, the pods continued to multiply, their hungry light growing stronger. Marcus turned to Naira, their energies intertwining. Are you sure about this? Your people spent millennia trying to survive. To throw that away. My people's time ended long ago, she replied, her form brightening. But in you, in what we shared, I found something worth more than mere survival. A chance to right ancient wrongs, to give meaning to all those years of drifting in the void. Together, they began the complex calculations needed for the quantum cascade, their combined consciousness reaching across space to map every particle, every energy signature that would need to be affected. Around them, the evacuation continued, a desperate race against time as humanity fled from the approaching swarm of parasitic pods. The choice had been made. Now they had to hope it would be enough to save not just this system, but all of human space from the ancient threat they had unwittingly awakened. The evacuation ships streaked through space, their engines burning hot as they carried thousands of colonists away from the Proxima Centauri system. Behind them, the swarm of parasitic pods had grown to encompass most of the asteroid belt, their hungry light casting an eerie glow across the void. Aboard the Helios, Marcus and Naira worked in perfect synchronization, their merged consciousness calculating the intricate quantum equations needed for the cascade. Their combined form filled the bridge with shifting patterns of light, neither fully human nor luminarii, but something gloriously new. Final evacuation transport clearing safe distance, Arya reported. Director Roth requests confirmation of cascade preparations. Marcus reached out with his enhanced senses, feeling the growing hunger of the pod swarm. They were learning, evolving faster than expected, already beginning to extend their reach beyond the system's edges. Tell her we're almost ready. The cascade has to be perfect, too weak and some pods might survive, too strong and it could spread beyond the system. I've found something, Naira announced, her consciousness deep in the calculations. A way to contain the cascade, to ensure it doesn't spread. But... Her form flickered with emotion. What is it? We can create a quantum boundary, a wall of collapsed spacetime that will contain the reaction. But to maintain it, to ensure it holds. She hesitated. One of us would have to survive, to act as an anchor point. Marcus understood the implications immediately. One of us could live. Yes. But they would be trapped here forever, maintaining the boundary, ensuring the cascade never spreads to threaten other systems. Her cosmic eyes met his. You should be the one. Your humanity, your connection to your people, they'll need that in the days ahead. No, Marcus shook his head, patterns of light flowing beneath his skin. You're the last of your kind, the keeper of your civilization's knowledge. You have to survive. My civilization had its time, Naira countered. We made our choices, our mistakes. Humanity is still growing, still learning. They'll need a guide who understands both worlds. Before Marcus could argue further, Arya interrupted. Alert. Pod swarm accelerating. Estimated 19 minutes until they reach critical mass. Containment will become impossible after that point. Marcus looked at the sensor displays, watching the hungry lights multiply. Then he turned back to Naira, his transformed body pulsing with determination. Neither of us should survive. What? Think about it. The boundary doesn't need consciousness to maintain it, just energy. The right kind of energy. He pushed his calculations into their shared consciousness. If we merge completely, become pure energy at the moment of cascade initiation. Understanding dawned in Naira's cosmic eyes. Our combined essence could become the boundary itself. Perfect balance, human intensity and luminary eye control. Not just containing the cascade, but giving it meaning. A permanent memorial to both our species. He moved closer, their forms beginning to merge. Together. Naira's light brightened with joy and sorrow. Together. They reached out to the communications array one final time. Director Roth, initiate final evacuation sequence. Cascade preparations are complete. Understood. Roth's voice carried deep emotion. Marcus, thank you. Both of you. We'll make sure your sacrifice is remembered. Just make sure it means something, Marcus replied. Learn from this. Grow from it. Find a better way. As the last ships disappeared into hyperspace, Marcus and Naira began their final merger. Their individual forms dissolved into pure energy, memories and emotions and hopes blending into something transcendent. Through their combined consciousness, they reached out to the swarm of pods, establishing the quantum connections needed for the cascade. Arya, Marcus's voice echoed one last time through the ship. Begin cascade sequence. Then initiate emergency protocols and get clear. Acknowledged, Chief Bennett. It has been an honor. The Helios's engines fired, carrying the faithful AI to safety as the cascade began. At its heart, Marcus and Naira's merged essence pulsed with power. The quantum reaction spread through space, consuming the parasitic pods in waves of cleansing energy. As it reached critical point, their combined consciousness expanded, transformed, becoming a shimmering wall of collapsed spacetime that contained the reaction. The Proxima Centauri system blazed with light visible across thousands of light-years, not a light of destruction, but of transformation. When it faded, the system was gone, replaced by a gently pulsing quantum barrier that would stand forever as a testament to love, sacrifice, and the endless possibilities that arise when different forms of life choose to understand each other. Years later, ships passing near the boundary would report strange and beautiful phenomena, patterns of light that danced like lovers across the quantum barrier, echoes of consciousness that spoke of hope and warning, of endings and new beginnings. Some claim they could hear whispered stories in the quantum fluctuations, tales of two beings who chose to become something greater than themselves. And in the great archives of human space, a new entry was added to the historical records. Here marks the edge of evolution, where humanity learned its greatest lesson, that true strength lies not in the power to consume, but in the wisdom to connect, to understand, and when necessary, to let go. In memory of Marcus Bennett and Naira, who showed us the way.